Hello everyone and welcome to Moonrise. This is Dave Johnson, channeling Man of the Moon. I'm going to take a look today at Ukraine and Russia and see what kind of pact they will form if they do. Okay, there's two kinds of bear. One's the panda, and then there's a brown bear that looks like Russia. And it's interesting that these are showing up because they are the same animal, they're just a different, I think it's a species. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not good at taxonomy, but different species of the same animal. I think it's a species. Anyway, um, it's almost like they're in separate bubbles, so here the bubbles are sort of like a Venn diagram trying to overlap. It's not working so well. They don't trust each other. And I'm reminded, this is really important. One thing about European countries is that they trust Biden. So we can stick together, and Biden trusts them. So we can unite. Countries that are not trustworthy can't really make true friends. Great metaphor for all of us, isn't it? They absolutely just are totally suspicious of one another. And China, I can see China, President Xi of China, again, forgive me if I mispronounced that. He's really suspicious, but he's also worried. He is looking at Russia and he's seeing the battle that they're fighting, and it's not working out very well for Russia. He doesn't think that they'll win, for example. It's not really possible for Russia to win. They would just be stuck there dominating that culture for until they win, until it's over, right? And there's no win for Russia. Period. I do not believe that Russia will win under Ukraine, but they're looking at that and saying, "This is a disaster. Do we want any association with the country that is obviously creating its own disasters?" Only insofar as it helps China, right? So does it help China? That's what he's wondering. It's a little bit more like he's saying, me pretending that I might do that will give me some concessions with the West. Because remember, we all think about the power of China. We buy the products. If we stop buying the products, if the government taxed Chinese products, they would not be made there anymore. They would lose their power. We could make a pact, for example, with Europe and say we're not buying Chinese products, or we're going to heavily tax them, or something like that. And China would begin to lose its edge, and they know they're losing their edge. It's interesting because I'm seeing President Xi, and he's lying down on this funny bed, and it's like one of those beds you would see like at a palace, like Versailles or something, with the kind of roller booster things. It's just totally out of character for him. And he's lying in it. It's almost like an imperial bed, and he's lying in it, and it's just, you get the feeling that he's out of place. He's not an emperor. He doesn't know what emperors know. He's not necessarily comfortable wielding the kind of power that he has. And it doesn't look good on him. It just doesn't look good that he's being imperious. It doesn't look good to his own people that he's acting like an emperor. That is his greater concern, is that people are perceiving him as the same as the emperors of China, as as a very elite, distant from the people. And he's not very attached to the Chinese people. He doesn't know what they're thinking. He absolutely does not trust Russia. He shakes his head, no, I'm not working with those guys. Again, it's sneaky. He might pretend to work with them just so that he gets a reaction out of us. It kind of builds up a threat so that we have more motivation to deal well with China, well being in his eyes. He pulls out a sword. He's there to protect China. That's his interest. And the problem is, it's a bit isolationist. China cannot be this booming economy if it is too isolated. And can we then look at Putin? Putin is increasingly desperate. He becomes more and more desperate every day. And as he becomes desperate, he clamps down harder and harder on the people. So he's got the same problem. Is the people don't like him, don't trust him. They fear him, but they don't want him. And this is going at a pretty high level. No one necessarily thinks that this is good for Russia. It's good for Putin, maybe, in some ways. He has a hard job ahead of him to try to control the population, make sure he doesn't get assassinated. A lot of stuff is going on for him, and he's not at all able to really expand his power. He's too much time is spent trying to shore it up and make sure things don't go wrong. They're already going wrong. So now he's got a propaganda problem, right? So now he's got a new problem. He's really wishing, first of all, that Trump won, because then he could have done this very easily. But he's also wishing that he didn't go there. He didn't do this. He underestimated the West. He underestimated Biden, as many of us did. He is getting more and more worried. So imagine it's like a military truck, but it keeps trying to go someplace, but it goes back and it goes in a circle. And then it tries to go someplace and it goes in a circle. And that's what's happening for him, and that's what's happening in Ukraine. There is no win. It's just circling as you throw more and more resources. And I'm seeing lots of young men that are Russian, and that's just like a sea of these people, of these Russian guys. World War One happened. When World War One happened, all the soldiers came home and they were pissed off, and that's when the Tsar fell. And I'm getting that same feeling. He's basically taken all of these young men, put them together in terrible conditions, and got them to talk with each other. And they're all fed up. They'd rather there's a million things they'd rather be doing than fighting this war. They don't say it in front of the boss, they don't say it in front of the colonel, but when they get together in the trenches, they can either just get drunk and commit crimes to distract themselves. The only other thing they can do while they're hungry and fighting is talk to each other about how terrible this is going and how the generals are messed up, how unfair it is that they are being sent. Others, Putin isn't fighting there. Generals are not necessarily fighting there. It's creating resentment. And this is the lighter side. Something good will happen as a result. It's like they're being sort of radicalized against Putin. And when they do come home, there will be a body of people who absolutely hate him and who want to get rid of him and who will do whatever it takes and who understand now how to make coalitions and understand very well when somebody is just not telling the truth to them. It's like this thing, there's like the eye roll, like, oh yeah, more propaganda. Heard it all before. You're not fooling me anymore. Before you could just kind of overlook it. You just go to your job, have a drink when you go home. Yeah, it's messed up, but not my problem so much. These are the powerful people in Russia, for better or for worse. These young men are actually the power. They are Fortunately, women don't have much power in that country. They are the ones who are going to make a difference. And they will make a difference in Russia before they will make a difference in China. It's just a different mentality of what you're willing to put up with or what your historic background is. There's really never been anything like a democracy in China. In Russia, there was a short time where there was some kind of democracy, and so they had a taste of this. And they would agree, early days of Putin were fine. At least he was getting them to move forward, and there wasn't so much economic chaos. Now they're really fed up. They're like, he had his time, it's over. Let's move on. So let's just ask question, will they make a pact? They both, there's an image of them like reaching to shake hands, and then at the last minute they cross their arms and say no. There are too many cultural differences between these two countries for them to really trust or like or make any kind of agreement. They will do what's in their own interests, not in what is in their mutual interests. So there will be some exchanges, for example, oil, but that's just because it's good for China. It's not because it's good for Russia. It's just China's just taking its advantage. And other than that, really, China doesn't have that much that it can give Russia. There's really no pact that can be created in that regard because China will do this until it's no longer beneficial to China, and then they will move on. So, you know, Russia is only going to have a very temporary ally if it has an ally at all. But China is more worried about the West, more worried about the rest of the West because they buy their products. All right, I think that's about it. If you will, just take a moment to send love to those people who have suffered the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. Just spend a moment and just send love to those people. And remember, there's these governments, and then there's these people who just have to live in that place, and they are truly suffering. So spend a moment here. Thanks so much for watching.